The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.
Marcus, and welcome to another episode of Toiletside Wrestling Talk. Today's guest hails from Earth, specifically Ohio in the United States of America, and made her in-ring debut in 2018. She was trained by Jay Donaldson and Roger Ruffin, and has worked for such promotions as World's Best Wrestling, Extreme Bombshells of Wrestling, United Wrestling Network, Girl Fright Wrestling, Championship Wrestling from Memphis, and I could go on. She shared the ring with the likes of Charlie Cruel, Cassandra Golden, Ari Alexander, Dancing with the Stars' own Derek Huff, Nikki Victory, Big Mama, and I could go on. So let's welcome today's guest, someone who is a plant-based baller. I give you Mean Salena Dean. Hey, Salena, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Can I tell you a little story? It's not meant to be creepy. I dream about a lot of things. So, I mean, not weird things, but so last night I had a dream about you. And it was this going on, and I ran the highlights of you, but then in the little window that I can see of you, you were like really angry, and I could somehow hear you, and you were swearing at this isn't me. I think that was the main thing that upset you, that the highlights weren't actually you. And then I woke up and felt horrible, and then I realized that was just a dream. So thank you. Okay, so some of the first thing I actually learned about you is you're a plant-based baller. What does that actually mean? I'm very ignorant.
So being a plant-based baller, as the recording artist Riff Raff would say, like I'm mean to people, but I'm not mean to animals. I don't eat any meat products or drink anything that has like animal products in it. So like any of my like protein powders or any of my other supplements that I use for working out or just eating in general, it has no like animal byproducts. All the products that I have in my house that I use personally don't have anything to do with like animal testing or anything like that. The only thing I can't get away from though is cheese and imitation like crab meat. But imitation crab meat isn't real, so it's all safe.
Yeah, we used to serve in high school. I worked at Subway, and we used to serve the seafood and crab, which was it was like fake crab, but everyone went nuts for it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to eat at Subway.
Is it difficult though then for like you to go to go out for food or to prepare the food and find alternatives?
Honestly, like it was such a smooth transition to like not eating meat, honestly, because honestly, like when I went to school for, massage therapy, and I learned a little bit more about the body and how it
Mhm.
reacts to certain things, and just learning that animals kind of react the same way, and then like us eating that kind of like transfers over to like how our body like process things. So like just learning about that kind of like made it more easy to.
Mhm.
And like I was thinking, I was like, I could never eat my dog, so why do I eat um, other animals? And it's weird too,
Oh,
like for
that's
my family.
interesting.
It's weird for my family to understand because I grew up on a cattle farm, and I used
Okay.
to watch cows get slaughtered like all the time when I was a kid. So it's they're like, I don't understand why you got a problem with it now. I'm like, well, it took 20 something years to kind of,
Yeah. Huh. Let
do
me
the right
ask you
thing, I guess.
something. Do you remember vividly the first time you saw um a cow get slaughtered?
Yeah, actually, I do. So I remember me and my grandpa, we used to go and like auction them off. And like what they would do at certain auction houses is they would like skin them alive basically, and just like kill them in front of you. And like he would be like doing the deal and stuff with like the auctioneer and like the
Uh,
people who bought the meat and stuff like that. And I just remember like sitting there, I'm like, that's really not cool. But
yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy. And so has it do you ever think back about it? Like, because
I
sometimes like if there's something that scared me as a kid or like really affected me, I think about it still.
yeah, I mean like
Or are
that's
you
how
numb
my
to it?
it doesn't, like, I'm not one of those people where it's like if I see something I'm like all up in arms about it, but it just reminds me of like that's how my grandpa was raised, so
Mm-hmm.
he naturally thought it was like okay, and so was I.
Yeah.
Like I've only been, vegetarian, like pescatarian for
Mm-hmm.
like 2 years now, and I just think back and I'm like, it just bothers me, like, to think about like how bad I felt, but like it was normal to just eat meat versus like
Yeah.
not eating it. And then now I feel a lot better. I'm a lot more comfortable like with my eating habits than I used to be. So
Have you ever, since you've stopped eating meat, do you ever watch it, be somewhere with somebody and like there's somebody that maybe you're like, oh God, that would taste good.
so this me and my friend, we just went and like did a couple shows last month.
Hmm.
And I've always wanted to eat a Whataburger and like In and Out and stuff. So I'm one of
Yeah.
those people where it's not like super strict. Like I'm not gonna like, if
Yeah,
I
you're not
if
gonna
I
get
do eat
kicked
something,
out of a society.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
But it's like I wanted to eat Whataburger so bad. Like I don't know, it's one of those one things where you always hear about it, so you want to eat it.
Uh-huh.
And we were coming through Tennessee, and she's like, "Yo, there's a Whataburger around." I was like, "Let's go." But we went, and then it was like just opening, so hopefully one time I get to try it and see what's up with it. But I
Okay,
did not get to try it then. But
so it's on your bucket list.
yeah, yeah, it's just like In and Out or like certain kind of like cuisines. Like I ate Cajun food for the first time.
Oh,
Like kind of, it's like a Cincinnati restaurant that's around here,
uh-huh.
and I kind of ate something I didn't realize what it was, but bacon now tastes absolutely terrible. Like, and I was kind
Really?
of like upset because like I used to like plow through bacon like all the time,
Uh-huh.
and like I got this one thing and it had it on there, but it didn't tell you that it was on there, and I ate that and I was like, I don't know what's on this, but this tastes like trash. And she was like, oh, it's wrapped in bacon. I was like, it's disgusting.
That is funny you bring that up because just today, I work with like the elderly, and I plan activities for them. We at a community, and I was going through like some of my stuff to plan my December events and stuff. And there's a day in December that's National Bacon Day. And then there's like 50 different things you can do with bacon, and so we'll make something. But Oh, that's odd that you just said that.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
I was upset about it because like now I wonder if like if a hamburger would taste disgusting
Oh,
or like a
yeah.
chicken. I wasn't like too big of a fan of like pork products besides
Uh-huh.
just bacon, but I
Yeah.
wonder if everything else would taste bad after just not eating it forever.
I hope not. Just because it's an alternative, just in case.
Yeah, just in
There's
case. Like if the world ends, like it would definitely be
yes,
more easy to like kill a cow or something. But
exactly. That's what I
yeah.
that's what I was thinking too. End of the world. Um, okay, so you grew up in where in Ohio?
So I was originally born in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, which is just it's in the tri-state.
Okay,
But I grew up uh, in Hamilton, Ohio. It's the Cincinnati area for people
okay.
who aren't really familiar.
Hmm.
Grew up in Hamilton, and then once my grandfather passed, it was kind of like back and forth between Indiana and Hamilton, like depending
Okay,
on where my father lived.
okay. Your grandfather owned the farm in Ohio,
Mhm.
and so is that type of job where there's no day off, right?
No, he worked sun up to sundown. Like I don't think I've ever met somebody who has that strong of a work ethic
Hmm.
uh, since I've known him, and he all the time. Like he would get me up and stuff, and we would go out and feed the cows, do everything like that, and take them places, and just
Are you
it was
fond
it
of
was always
those
something.
memories?
Yeah, because I feel like I didn't get a whole lot of them.
Hmm.
For somebody who I look up to as much as I do to him,
Uh-huh.
I feel like I kind of got like the short end of the deal because we were always buddies, pals, and uh, didn't get too many of them. But all of them that I do have with him, I do remember them, and I think about
Okay.
him all the time.
Did he ever go on vacation? Like, can a farmer go on vacation?
Absolutely not. No, him and my grandma, they really never did. Their vacation was to town, uh,
Okay.
to the city, to Meyer. They would
Okay.
go, yeah, go shopping, and that was the vacation that they would take.
So then, at what age did you start moving back to Indiana?
I it was like every other 6 months. I don't know why. That's why I failed the first grade is because my parents they just like back and forth. They were
Yeah.
separated, and they just kept boop, 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 boop,
Yeah.
back and forth every 6 months. Yeah.
Did that bother you? I imagine.
It was okay. Just because I really liked to just switch schools, and then everybody's like, "Oh, you're new," and then
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Um.
But in high school, it would have got annoying, but
Oh,
it stopped after a while.
Oh, okay. And did you have siblings?
I am the only one between my mother and my father.
Uh-huh.
I do have a half brother who's older.
Okay.
Between we share the same mom.
Okay. Got it. Got it. And were you guys near the same age, did you say?
I think Jevin is 32 or 33, so
Okay.
it's a little bit different, but
Okay.
not too much.
And then was your mom in the picture?
Yeah,
Present?
yeah, my mom was more so in the picture whenever I did go and stay with my dad. It was mostly with his parents. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so my dad had other plans, and my grandparents really liked me, thankfully, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I like you so far. I mean, that
yeah.
may change, but so far so good. And so when you're at the farm those times, did you have friends in Ohio and friends in Indiana?
Um, when I was little, I don't really think I did.
Yeah,
It was kind of like that weird kid because where it was like moving and stuff, and I had like
sure.
the typical like early 2000s like Dora haircut. So everybody was like, "Oh, you're a boy. Oh, you're a girl. Oh, you're a boy." So it was like, and nobody really wanted to be the friend
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
early age. Yeah.
And like so in Ohio, is it a small school you go to?
Yeah, so I went to Fillmore Elementary School when I
Okay.
lived in Ohio, and then in Lawrenceburg, I went to Lawrenceburg Elementary, and then like Aurora Elementary School.
So what does Selena do for fun as a child
Um,
to keep yourself busy?
uh, Super long car rides
Mhm.
to and from each parent, and then I watched a lot of the Drew Carey show and a lot of wrestling when I was a kid, and a lot of Roseanne.
Okay, I hope this is okay to say. Were you lonely as a kid?
Oh, yeah, cause like
Yeah, it sounds like it.
all my cousins were not around because their parents were together and loved them,
Yeah.
so they were all at their houses, and I uh, I just hung out with my grandparents, and from an early age, I was always meant to be older, I guess you
Okay.
could say. Yeah, I love when people tell me that I'm an old soul stuck in a young person's body because I never related to people my age
Uh-huh.
necessarily, just because I've grown up hanging out with people in their 40s and 50s, and you know.
Sure. And then when did wrestling come into your life?
So
Pro wrestling.
before uh before my grandpa died, that's what me and him would do like every Monday and Friday and stuff like
Oh,
that.
cool.
We would watch wrestling super religiously. Like me, him, and my grandma, we would watch it all the time. And I remember all the time he would tell me, he's like, "This is what you're gonna do when you get older. This is exactly what you were meant to do." And so I took that to heart, I guess, you know.
I'm jumping ahead a bit, but do you ever think of that, like when you're wrestling, or like when you're finished, after a match or something, like, oh my God, I'm
Yeah,
a pro wrestler.
I really do think about it right before I go out of the curtain, and
Yeah,
it would have been so cool for him to see one day that I would, even at a like the indie level. I feel like he
yeah.
would have been so mind blown by it.
I imagine. Did they watch wrestling prior to you coming
Yeah,
into?
yeah. So he really liked like the territory days. Like I
Mhm.
remember him telling me stories about like going to shows and stuff like
Cool.
especially when he lived, because he was like kind of from like the Tennessee, like Kentucky border,
Okay.
and going around like the southern states and stuff like that, watching stuff.
And your grandma started watching because of him, I
Yeah,
imagine. Oh,
yeah.
okay,
She
okay.
really liked how all the guys looked on TV, so she's like, I guess I'll give it a shot.
Oh gosh, that you're really lucky to have that. Did you guys ever go to like a live, WWE show or?
Unfortunately, not with them.
Uh-huh.
That was like really expensive. The first time I
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
went to a live show was a house show in Louisville, Kentucky. I went with my mom and my stepdad at the time, and that was like I want to say the sixth grade. It was
Okay.
when Rey Mysterio and like Batista and everything was around.
So did they take you, or they take you because they wanted to go too?
They took me because I would not leave them alone about it.
Uh-huh.
And then my ex stepdad, he was really into wrestling too, and that's something that we bonded over. And
Oh, I bet.
um, I think we won the tickets, or they bought tickets. I just know we got there super early,
Uh-huh.
just so we could like meet them, and I got to meet Batista and like Paul Landers, or I'm sorry, Paul London.
Yeah.
Right before the show and stuff
Oh,
like that, and
cool.
Batista told me like, "Hey, you're gonna make your dreams come true," and I was like, "That's it."
Wow, that's cool. That's awesome. So did you do amateur wrestling when you were growing up?
I did, yeah, yeah. I was a national champion for Indiana's women's team when
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
in high school. Yeah.
So is that Is that I'm sorry again if I'm ignorant. I swear
Oh
I'm
no,
trying
you're fine.
not to be. Is that available at through high school, like the high school, or are you on like a private team? Like that they have
So
their own women's team.
yeah, so like I started wrestling folk style in fourth grade. I was the only girl from fourth grade all the way to my senior year of high school, and then my junior and senior year, I was on Indiana's national team,
Uh,
and their national team is kind of like what. So if you're on a national team, you kind of are able to go to these certain events like junior nationals and stuff like that. So you can be
okay.
kind of picked to be on the Olympics and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So you're kind of like a professional amateur wrestler.
Sure. And okay, now, so did you wrestled males as well, right?
Yeah, all through school I did, and the first time that I ever wrestled girls was
Mhm.
on the national team.
Okay, so this is, I believe, the fourth or fifth thing that I'm just ignorant about. Is it like when you're like wrestling guys? Is it like you see in movies or whatever? Like, all the guys give you the girl a hard time. Like,
It's exactly like that.
it really is.
Yeah,
Like give you a
even
hard
my own
time.
team.
Mean, like
Yes.
being mean.
Yeah. So think of it as like a really like played out '80s movie where the
Okay.
jock is really like really rude to the new kid in town
Uh,
for no reason, and that's exactly what it was from fourth grade to high school.
did, I mean, was that? I mean, that I wouldn't be able to hang in there with that. Was it hard? Like, did you ever say like, you know what, I can't deal with these guys anymore?
It was like
Mhm.
certain times, but I feel like it made me kind of quick on my feet with like standing up for myself and making
Sure.
you know comments and stuff because I'm really quick to say something to somebody if I
Uh,
don't like what they say. I feel like it kind of helped in an aspect just because like I really wanted to wrestle and I'm not gonna let somebody else dictate whether I can or cannot do it.
and did you ever like take it out on these guys on the mat? Like, was there
Yeah,
some sort like of satisfaction, like being able to do that?
yeah, it was definitely cool to like be able to beat them and
Uh,
then they would kind of like, oh hey,
is all
she's
of
supposed to be here.
Yeah, yeah. Is all of this in preparation for you? Like, did you have a plan? Like, was this all in preparation to become a pro wrestler?
Yeah, so my whole idea was I remember back on like the MySpace days,
Mhm.
I remember like there was somebody like posted an article about like Randy Orton and how he was like an amateur wrestler like in high school or college or whatever, and I was like, oh, like I should be an amateur wrestler. And I remember watching it one time like kind of like out of school, like I was kind of going to like a basketball game like when I was doing basketball, and like I
Uh-huh.
remember seeing a wrestling meet going on and I was like, I feel like I want to do that. And then the first day of practice I came, my coach at the time, Coach Nabi, he was like, so you wanna wrestle? He's like, that's awesome. He's like, we've never had a girl before, so you'll be the first one. I was like, the first of many, but
Oh, so have you like heard back like if they have like a more like representative wrestling team, like both male and
so
female?
yeah, so I've seen just from like because I know a couple people that I was in school with, like my graduating class.
Hmm.
They're like teachers at the school now, and they post like pictures and stuff of like the certain sports groups that are going on.
Sure.
And the last 2 years I've seen is like they've had like more and more girls on the team. I think last year they had like four, it looked like. So
Oh,
that was really cool to see. I wish I could go back, but I feel like that's weird to be like, hey, can I like go to go to training one day. But
Yeah. The returning veteran. Did
exactly.
Oh, so on the Indiana team, the national team, you were a champion?
Yeah, so I was like nationally ranked for a year, which means you just play high on like
Yeah.
these national tournaments that they
Uh-huh.
have.
So you won a bunch.
Yeah, I was fairly good. I did a lot of weight classes, so like I was 125 to
Uh,
155, so that kind of gave me a wide range of winning.
I mean, is that difficult? Like, I mean, that's 30 pounds. Is it difficult
Yeah,
to like put on that weight?
so what it is with folk style wrestling, you don't have to put on the weight necessarily if you want to wrestle in that weight class. All you have to do is be able to make the lowest weight. So cutting
Oh,
weight,
okay.
yeah,
Oh, you have to be between 120 and 150.
yeah, yeah. But you
Okay,
always
okay,
have to weigh exactly 120 at the beginning of the meet, and then you can wrestle
okay.
whatever weight. Like if I wanted to do like the 250 weight class, I could have if they would have
Oh,
wanted me to. Yeah.
oh, wow. So at this point, do you have like a plan for like after high school?
So when I was little, and this carried all the way to being in high school,
Hmm.
I wanted to be the first ever professional wrestler, actress, and comedian, opera singer, all in one. So that the acting and the wrestling, that one's come. I think I'm pretty funny, but I'm not going to step on a stage anytime soon. And then the opera singing, I definitely did not put any effort into,
Now, is
but
this
the other
something?
two are fine.
Is this something that you've given up on the opera part, or is it I'll have plenty of time at some point to
No,
become?
I definitely gave up on that. I
Ah,
really like opera. I really love listening to opera and like classical music, but
yeah,
I don't think I've got it in me to do that.
yeah. Did you play any instruments?
I played saxophone in
Okay.
middle school, so that was about
I
it.
did think you had a little Clarence Clemens in you, if I
Yeah.
Wynton Marsalis. Okay, so after high school, you graduate high school, and what happens from there?
I a lot goes on there. I uh I keep on with the acting and stuff like that. I get a
Uh-huh.
couple extra gigs, and I'm just still confused on the wrestling aspect.
Hmm.
Just because wrestling around here, it was kind of like hard to find.
Okay.
There wasn't a whole lot of like schools. The only school that ever came up like when I was looking for it was Ohio Valley Wrestling, in which
Hmm.
that was a place that I always wanted to go to just because of like the aspect of who like came out of there
Sure.
and everything. So I kind of like let the wrestling dream die for a little bit, just
Okay.
so I could, I had like a normal job. I was like, the acting's gonna work out. Um, I was trying to do that on my own because I didn't want to have to get an agent. But then eventually, when I was 23, I found the Northern Wrestling Federation that I'm at now
Hmm.
that has a bunch of stuff going on for me, and mostly because my brother-in-law, he used to wrestle in the tri-state area. He used to wrestle at the place that John Moxley came from and where I'm at now.
Oh, wow. Prior to like training, had you ever been in a wrestling ring before?
uh no, I've been in a lot of boxing rings, a lot of like
Oh,
MMA cages and stuff, but not a wrestling ring.
what were you doing in an MMA cage?
I
Did
did.
someone lock you in there?
No, I did
Oh,
mixed
okay.
martial arts for I want to say like 4 or 5 years.
Does it feel good punching someone in the face?
Absolutely, yeah. And it honestly doesn't matter who it is, as long
Yeah,
as
yeah,
they're,
yeah.
yeah.
Like, have you dropped someone before? I mean, hit them and they went right down?
Yeah, and then a lot of accidental like breakings of noses, with like knees and stuff like that. So
Do you ever
yeah.
do you ever fear walking down the street in the evening? Because it's from what I can gather, like I wouldn't mess with you.
So like honestly, yeah. But like if I'm by myself, I'm definitely one of those people that's very self-aware.
Okay.
Even even if you're with a group of people, like I'm always like super like hyper like what hyper vigilant or whatever.
Sure.
s- like if somebody walks by, I'm just like, oh, I got that real like mafia vibe to me. I'm like
Oh,
somebody's
okay.
coming for me. Yeah.
So do people? I'm sure people like to walk with you at nighttime, or just in general, like have you on their
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, I
Um,
definitely make people feel safe, but on the inside, I'm like, bro, who's coming at me?
yeah, totally. It's a lot of responsibility, but I mean, it's like a superpower. Like hitting someone and knocking them down like that, I consider a superpower that I'll never acquire, um, unless there's some type of radiation, like end of the world stuff again. Um, so night before your first day of training, are you nervous?
No, actually, I'm not. I still lived in Indiana at the time, so I was driving to Cincinnati.
How
For
long's
that,
that drive?
I'd say about like 45 minutes
Okay.
where I lived at. Um, but I remember I Googled or like I got on YouTube and I was looking up how to take bumps. So like I walked in there and
Oh,
I was like kind of like mentally prepared for what I was doing. And like I had an air mattress that I slept on, so I was like taking bumps
oh, that's
on
so
my air
funny.
mattress at the time. And uh, I remember like looking that up, and then like when I was getting off of work to go up there, I drove to the wrong building, and then like
Oh,
I was like, great, this is like
yeah.
not a good start to it. So I finally like go to the right building, and I walk in, just doing everything like normal,
Hmm.
and comes to taking bumps, and I was like, I know how to do this. Boom, do
Did
it.
you tell anybody what had happened? Like that
No,
you had already like looked,
no,
researched
no.
and practiced?
After I got to know everybody, sure, but
Yeah, yeah.
not day one.
Did it help? I mean, were you
Yeah,
able to take a bump right away?
yeah, and apparently, like the guy that I watched,
Uh,
he is not well liked in the wrestling community, from what I heard after
oh,
I
really?
had said that. Yeah, because
So,
he gives out all the secrets and stuff, and
yeah. Oh, okay. It's like that magician who reveals everything, but
yeah,
he wears a
yeah, it's
mask.
exactly like that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, so are they like praising you? Like, wow, she can take a bump. Like that's the
No,
first time you've taken one?
no.
No. Okay.
Uh,
W- Oh, at the time, were you like, how was were you physically like fit and ready, or at least in your head to do training?
Yeah, yeah. Fitness has always been something that like I really like to do. Just because from wrestling and doing all sorts of sports throughout my life,
Mm,
I always have like this really big fear of like um being fat and like
mhm.
being like and there's nothing wrong with like being big. I just feel like I would not be. I'm already uncomfortable as I am now,
Okay.
and I know that like people say like, oh, there's no reason for it, but body dysmorphia hits you hard when you're half naked in front of hundreds of people all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Was that hard getting used to?
No, because wrestling in a singlet all the time, and then I was a diver in high school too, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, like that part I didn't have any qualms with doing that stuff. So like
Do you know?
I'm comfortable to a certain extent, but like on the inside I'm like I feel like trash. But on the
Oh
outside I'm
God.
like, oh, I'm cool. No.
Do you have any type of like release from that you can do?
Just um no.
No. Okay.
No, no.
Okay, looking back, it was training fun, or is training fun? at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's you gotta definitely want to be it.
Okay.
You can't just. It was like the same thing with like wrestling in school. It's like
Hmm.
if I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't do it. I'm one of those people. If I'm
Hmm.
definitely not invested, I don't want to do it. So it makes it 10 times harder.
Sure.
Um, but the wrestling professionally and stuff, and doing training and everything, it was. It felt like it came easy.
Hmm.
Just getting in and taking the bumps because of the MMA background and the wrestling background. It was kind of easy. Like I felt like I was already up to date on it. I
Hmm.
just had to like plug in a few other things to kind of feel adjusted, but it was fun.
So, did you have your first match pretty quickly then?
Yeah, just because we only had two women at the time, so
Okay.
I stepped up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And do you remember your first match?
Yeah, unfortunately. So we did training on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and
Hmm.
the Thursday right before the Sunday show, I we were in training and we were learning monkey flips, which is like out of the buckle where the person just flings you across
Sure.
the ring and stuff. Um, I remember I was in the corner. Somebody jumps up to give me a monkey flip. He launches me like all the way like into the other buckle, and I land with my feet like I land basically like standing up, but my feet like inverted really bad,
Okay.
and like all you hear is just like a bunch of like snapping and stuff. And if they weren't broken, they were definitely severely sprained. Like I couldn't walk on my like I had to like walk like this, like I couldn't like bend, like I had to like
Oh
it was
my God.
terrible. And that was about it was like that for about like a year and a half, maybe. Yeah, I'd say about a year and a half before I could even like put my foot flat, like laying
Oh my
down.
God. Could you
Um,
drive?
yeah, I had to drive when I left that night.
Oh, jeez.
But I did that, and that Sunday we were supposed to have a full match, but went out did, and it was just like a squash match kind of. So just did that, but adrenaline takes over, and one thing I've learned is once you're advertised, you can not be there unless you're
Yeah,
in it.
yeah.
But
Would you watch your first match? Have you seen it? Your
I do.
match?
I have it on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
It's all right.
It's all
It's
right.
okay.
Okay. So you've learned to wrestle, you're training. When does when do you start thinking about like your persona? Is that discussed as part of training?
Um, it kind of is, but
Mhm.
not really. It depends on like where you're at in like the story or like where you're getting added to. So when I first started, I was a face
Mhm.
for like two matches, and then I kind of got put into this like, oh, there's like a best friend scenario
Mhm.
that's like everybody thought was like imaginary, but it was me, and then that's where I made the heel turn and um, got put with this other heel, and we were a tag team just
Mhm.
until recently. Um, but like my character, like my gimmick that I wanted, it's kind of always like the punk rock gimmick that I do have till this day.
Uh-huh.
Aside from the new money gimmick that I have sometimes, I just it's where the acting part comes in,
Yeah, I
and
was going to ask you
I
about
like to
that.
do I like to do other things. Like the new money thing was I just wanted to be rich, and like I have money, I have things, like I really like being silly and like making it a show for people because that's what it is.
Have does has your friends or family come to your
Yeah,
match?
I have a lot of people um come from my shoot job,
Mhm.
my mom and my stepdad come, my dad and my stepmom come all the time.
Is that more
Um,
stressful than like than if they're not there?
no, it's about the same.
Do you get
I'm
nervous?
not, no,
Do you still get
no.
nervous before like matches and stuff?
No, honestly, I'm never one to be like nervous about anything. It really has
Mhm.
to be like, and that sounds really bad to say, it has to really
No,
be
that's
something that's like peak interest to make me nervous about it. Otherwise, I'm just cool, calm, and collected. I don't really like. I'm not one of those people that has to like psych myself up. I'm just like stand in the back, like, and then go out to the curtain. That's when the show starts.
and be ready. So has being a pro wrestler like has it lived so far? Has it lived up to your expectations?
Yeah, it's definitely what I thought it would be. As a kid and stuff like that. Obviously, I've been on TV a couple of times, and that was
Yeah.
really cool. But unfortunately, for my grandfather, I am not The Rock.
Yeah.
But hopefully, one day, like I could be on a bigger stage for it. If not, it's fine. He's not here. Like, who's gonna tell him? But
Yeah.
it's
And you are a pro wrestler. Who cares if
yeah.
it's a
He
WWE or
wasn't
any?
very specific. He just said, "This is what you're gonna do." So
And you're
I could
doing
have
it.
just did background, like backyard stuff. But
Yeah. Are you proud of yourself?
yeah, I mean, I did put it off for a long time. A
Mhm.
because I didn't know how to get into it, but I feel like it's pretty good. I worked hard for it, and I did. I made the dream come true.
Yeah. What's the I don't know if I should ask this. What's the
Oh,
worst
you're good.
part? What's the worst part of being a pro wrestler? Like what's the hardest part?
What the hardest part is being a girl and having to go to the bathroom in these nasty establishments that they
Oh,
put you in. Because I'll tell you what, buddy, it's easy for the guys because they can just
yes,
pee
yes.
everywhere, and ah, it's that
It
that's
makes my
honestly the most terrible thing.
it makes my skin crawl just hearing you say that you have to do that. Oh, that's awful. Like are there certain promotions that you have more fun with than others? Not saying the others are bad.
Yeah, I definitely like. I really like doing the NWF shows just because like
Mhm.
I know everybody, and I don't have to go far.
Uh,
And then we always have like a nice place to go to the bathroom and change
yeah,
at, and
totally.
and then I liked going to OVW and doing like their shows and everything. It's a very nice environment.
Now, I don't know if I've ever asked you on this. How like careful do you have to be that you're like when you're developing your move set? How like careful do you have to be that it's not something someone else does that you may not necessarily know the person? Like, you have
Uh,
to be mindful of that.
yeah, so like a good rule of thumb is
Hmm.
if they're on the show,
Hmm.
don't do it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
or like if it's because wrestling, all wrestling is just copying things that you see. Nothing in wrestling now is original. Think
Yeah.
of how many people do the super kick, and the super kick used to be a finisher. The
Uh-huh.
elbow drop used to be a finisher. Now it's just like mid match moves, and then
Yeah.
like a DDT used to be the most
Ends
deadly
the match.
thing, and
Yeah.
now it's just like everybody's popping out 20 of them in a
Hmm.
match. So
Totally.
you have to just put your own spin on things to where people don't think that they just seen the same
Uh-huh.
thing. Um, but like if me and you were on the same card and my finisher was a springboard cutter and that was your finish,
Hmm.
it's different because I'm a girl, but it's
Hmm.
also like, hey, if we have the same finisher, are you going to use it as a finish or am I going to use it as a finish? You kind of want to like get chatty with
Sure.
everybody that's in the back.
Have any of your old amateur wrestling opponents seen you wrestle, or are you aware that they know you're a professional wrestler?
I don't know. I know a lot of people that I used to go to school with, they followed like my Instagram and like the Twitter
Okay.
and stuff like that. So I assume maybe people know about it, but nobody that I used to wrestle with has ever been like, "Hey, I'm coming to a show." But yeah, I'd rather not. I didn't like them then. I probably won't like them now,
Totally, totally. Can you still watch wrestling like as a fan? Like, do you watch it ever? AEW, WWE, any of that stuff?
I'll be honest with you. I am
Mhm.
probably one of those, one of the only indie people that really doesn't like to watch wrestling.
Uh-huh.
I watch like certain matches that like pique my interest or like people I like, or
Yeah.
even go back and like watch older matches. But it's just not the same because like you
Mhm.
know what to look for now, and
Yeah.
you see like the psychology aspect of it, and it drives me crazy. But nowadays I don't like to watch like newer stuff hardly
Uh-huh.
unless it's like clips or like I said like people I like. But
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Um, Selena, so I don't get divorced, I am going to let you go shortly. I
okay,
think we've learned a lot. Can I ask you five non-wrestling related yes or no questions?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Have you ever completely ruined somebody's Thanksgiving Day meal, or ruined a party for all the guests that attended?
No, just because like not until recently I didn't really have family Thanksgiving, so
Okay.
if you don't have them, you don't get to ruin them. So
Okay. There's one plus to it. Do you ever walk down the street and you have somebody walking behind you with a boombox playing like theme music for you? And if so, were you walking in slow motion?
um, I I don't have that just
Mm-hmm.
because there's no sidewalks, but I will not lie to you. Whenever I'm in my car, I
Mm-hmm.
do always imagine myself having an entrance to certain songs that are on. Yes.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. Money here. $900,000. Would you murder the Thanksgiving turkey with your bare hands?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'll take the plant-based baller off of my
Yeah,
Instagram in that case.
totally. Um, are you afraid of mermaids?
No, I just envy them because they can swim very well.
Okay. Shout
And
out to mer.
Poseidon was hot in The Little Mermaid, so.
Oh yeah, shout out to mermaids then. And finally, you've done fantastic. Do you eat porridge for breakfast every day?
Not if it's too hot or not if it's too cold, but if it's just right, I can enjoy it.
545. You did great on that. Okay, as the weather is getting colder, where are you going to be wrestling in the next, throughout till the end of the year?
Probably a lot of cool places. I do have a lot of bookings that are around our tri-state, and then
Okay.
none of them have heat. And I'm gonna go to Arkansas a little later in
Oh,
December, probably or January, I think.
do you ever plan on like getting? I'm saying to like Florida just because of like weather, or like going out west.
Lord, if the price is right, absolutely.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'd love to go to Texas or Florida and wrestle. I do like to go and see my sister. She lives in
Okay.
Tampa, so I would definitely, if
Oh,
anybody's booking in Tampa,
yeah, seriously. You can either stay with your sister or book you. So, for
exactly.
anyone who's listening to this, what was I going to say? Did you ever, were you ever in a tornado? And I'm not saying in a tornado, but like being in the
Uh,
farm and,
no, in Indiana, we oddly get a lot of them that are like in the surrounding areas. Like it'll just be
okay,
on like random, like little back roads that we have, and
okay.
I've definitely like come across them like after they had passed, and it's very eerie. But I've never
You've
been
never seen a
near one.
twister live?
I've seen them like
Oh,
from
really?
afar, but like not
Is that
up
scary?
close. It is, especially when you're at your friend's house who has like a trailer that they live in. So it's
Oh,
I'm
jeez.
nervous.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God, that's crazy. All right, Selena, thank you so much for, especially that it's a Friday night. I really appreciate you coming on. This was, and I'll be honest, this was like the highlight of my day, and it went great as far as the hype I had created for myself. So thank
Awesome.
you
I'm
so
glad
much.
to hear that.
Um, have a great rest of the year, a happy new year, a great Thanksgiving and everything. And I hope you stay safe and healthy, and hopefully we can talk again soon.
Right, maybe in the new year, it's coming around the bend pretty soon.
Yeah. All right, we'll do this again for sure.
All right, dude. Thank you so much for having me. It was
My
very nice
pleasure.
talking to you.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.